What's up, Geeks and Gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are talking about the massive success of Black Widow during its opening weekend at the box office. It can't be denied. There is no doubt about it. And I even talked about the Thursday night numbers and how impressive they were. Even if it was not the pandemic, those were still very impressive numbers. But it was pandemic, so it makes them even more impressive. And credit where credit is due, as I said in that video. And now we have the final estimates, and $218 million worldwide on opening weekend. Very, very impressive. I'm not saying that I thought it would have a bad weekend. I don't know what I expected. I expected it to be somewhat successful because it's the MCU, but I also questioned the lockdown and, what's happened with cinemas and things like that. But either way, those are impressive numbers. Now, the only thing I will question about these numbers is that $60 million on Disney Plus Premier Access. I've never seen them report those numbers like that. It's very interesting that they are adding that to the overall opening weekend box office numbers. It's very weird. I get it, but I don't understand why this is happening now. Like, we've seen other films that had premiered online, and I've never seen them report those numbers. And Disney typically doesn't report their streaming numbers. So to get that really is kind of strange to me. And if you take that $60 million away, well, yeah, you still got an impressive number, but it doesn't elevate it to that 218. And they're all about the marketing, which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Everything should be around marketing. You should try to market things to the best of your ability, and that's fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But that is a very strange dynamic, to say the least. Now, what does this mean from the perspective of everything I talk about with, identity politics, get woke, go broke, all that stuff? I mean, it just means more of the same. It means more of the same because how many times have I said this? How many times have I said this? More times than I can count. I have said over and over and over again that they are interested in hijacking properties with a pre-existing franchise and a pre-existing fan base because they can't create new characters from the ground up that are centered around identity politics, and they know they can. We heard the situation recently with the Netflix director saying that they can't create brand new characters out of fear of being rejected with their identity politics. That's why they have to hijack pre-existing characters. We know this is what they do, and I've said this more times than I can count. I've probably sounded like a broken record up to this point. But you see what they've done with this movie, with the marketing, with the whole women empowerment push. They claim that women have never been in movies before. They act like this is the first time we've ever seen a female director and a female lead or women being featured in a movie. We've heard this over and over again. And look, I love Scarlett Johansson. All right, I think she's an awesome actress, an amazing action star. I have nothing but respect for her on screen. All right, and I'm fine with her being successful. I'm a fan of hers on screen, but she has pulled the identity politics card in the marketing. There's no doubt about that. That cannot be denied. It has happened. Just like I can't deny these numbers, you can't deny that Scarlett Johansson has used identity politics in the marketing, and she's claiming this is a breakthrough for women and all of that, and it's not. They've even said this was like a Me Too movie. They did the whole gender swap for Taskmaster, and again, why? Why did you need to use a character that has a following? And again, Taskmaster's not like an all-time, villain or something like that in the MCU, but hardcore fans knew who the Taskmaster was. And they just completely ignored anything that came before it, and they did the bait and switch on that. Why? Because they know they can't create characters from the ground up. Now, I've talked about the MCU and how the MCU is just so powerful. It's where Star Wars was before The Force Awakens. That's how powerful the MCU is. The MCU has been built, and it has been developed, and it is more successful than anything we've ever seen in the history of film. You can't deny that either. But it does not represent what it once was. It represents something different, and it's going to take a lot of people a lot of time to figure that out because a lot of people don't pay attention to it, just like with Star Wars. It took time. It took time, but eventually when we got to The Rise of Skywalker, half the fans were done. They were out. They were completely checked out because of the identity politics, and you were moving away from everything George Lucas created. Now, the MCU is still not as bad as Star Wars, but it's definitely moving in that negative direction. So when I see the success of Black Widow, I think, yeah, I mean, you've got Scarlett Johansson, one of the biggest female action stars on the planet, maybe the biggest. You've got the MCU. You've got a character that fans love and general audiences love. So it makes sense that it was successful. I didn't know if it would be this successful or not, but it doesn't matter what I thought it would be. The fact is we are where we are, and it was. Now, I'll be interested to see how this plays out moving forward. Will it have legs or will it not? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. To me, it seems like people are enjoying this movie far more than I did. And I'm just looking at the reaction. I'm looking at people that I've talked to. It seems like people are enjoying this movie more than me. Not everyone, clearly, but I have seen a lot of people that just said, I liked it. It was pretty good. No one is angry at the movie per se. I didn't like it. I did like the first act, but after that, it really falls apart for me. And it's subtle, but it's there with the identity politics. It is there. There's no doubt. But people seem to really enjoy it, and maybe that's because Scarlett Johansson and her being Black Widow, because they love her as that character, and there's reason for that. But this means nothing in the bigger scheme of things. All this means is that the MCU is still a powerful, powerful brand. It still means that people love Scarlett Johansson, and it still means that they loved Black Widow. That's all that means. That doesn't change any of the arguments that we've been making about how identity politics ruins everything, because it eventually does. But the MCU is such a strong brand, so it's going to take a lot longer because of that platform it has. But this movie, I don't think this movie is going to be drowned out by identity politics from a general audience standpoint. I don't think so. I do think the Taskmaster thing is a little aggravating for people. Even the general audience probably looked at that and goes, that was a man in that suit for the majority of the time we saw it. And now we're supposed to believe it's just this skinny girl? Really? And I think that might be the only issue from a general audience standpoint. They look at it and go, that's not really right, but I'm not sure. But yeah, look, nothing but respect, credit where credit's due. Black Widow was a success. I question that $60 million on Disney+, but at the end of the day, those are the numbers. The audience scores are really, really high for this movie. And of course, if I use those audience scores to show you negativity, it's only right that I use those audience scores to give Black Widow credit. And right now, I think it's at a 92% right now audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So again, credit where credit's due. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for checking out this video. Thank you for supporting us over on geeksandgamers.com, our website. We have had a lot of new signups recently. Ryan Kennel just had a Sports Wars video that hit like 600,000 views in like 2 days. Sports Wars is doing great. Park Hop is doing awesome. We had our Mario Kart stream last night on Gaming with Geeks, and that blew up. And obviously, follow us over on Locals. We love that platform. We love everything they're doing over there. So thank you all for the support. We appreciate it. Go to geeksandgamers.com. Sign up for free. You can jump in the forums for free, have whatever discussions you want. And for $10 a month minimum, you can become a premium member. That helps support the site and gets you exclusive access to a lot of our content. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.